our November 1st, 2021 meeting. We'll begin with the Sunshine Law. Vince, did you want to say it? I don't have it memorized.
Yeah, the meeting has been properly advertised as per the Sunshine Law and specifically as per the amendment for virtual meetings.
All right, and now for roll call.
I have everyone who's here.
All right, fantastic. So we'll get right into it. I don't believe we have anybody on from the public. I'll give just a moment in case that we do, for anyone to share any comments. All right, so we'll move right into the zoning subcommittee report. So I'll just hand it over to you, Vince.
Yeah. I don't have anything major to report. The only thing I will say is that we will be having a meeting next month. We do have to discuss the budget, and we will have a couple other items on the agenda. And Pat can explain where he wants to have a discussion about what he wants to deal with. We can talk about that later, but we will have to deal with the budget next month. I will be sending out to everyone within the next 2 weeks budget information so that you can be ready for next month. But that's all I have for zoning.
All right, and then Vince, a couple questions. I mean, if you could kind of just let us know a little bit about and if there's been any activity or recent since our last meeting, has anybody new expressed any interest in any new projects? Are there things that we may be able to expect in the future for any new applications?
There hasn't been anything new. We're still dealing with the two bigger projects on either end of the street, and those are just ongoing discussions as far as what they may want to do, how they're going to do it, what they're going to look like, how big they're going to be, how they're going to get their financing. And things are still a little bit up in the air with the whole COVID issue. The bigger projects don't want to move forward 100% until they're pretty much assured that the COVID issues have disappeared. You don't want to put 300 or 400 units in and not quite sure what's happening with records. So.
Absolutely.
We're kind of in I would say, a semi-holding period. They're moving forward, especially the one with the engineering and their permitting, but they're not willing to go forward and submit a full site plan until they understand what's going to happen in the next year with all the COVID issues.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing that I think is a great opportunity for us on Hamilton Street. And I'm in case not everybody on the board has heard, but the hub is now officially under construction. And considering the proximity to the Franklin part of Hamilton Street, I think that presents a incredible opportunity for everyone to benefit from all of that new commerce that we'll hopefully be able to expect in the coming years over there. So I think just the fact that construction has begun is a great sign, and I think the future of Hamilton Street as a result will be incredibly prosperous.
Great.
So we'll move right along to the Public Safety Committee report. Rebecca, would you like to take the mic?
Sure. Okay. Well, I can tell you about the happenings going on at CRP. Well, I guess I just got, what I consider to be good news. We have, a tentative go-ahead in order to resume the basketball program. And I'm sure everyone was aware, one of the children in it had caught COVID, and then so I guess they just wanted to be safer than since it was an indoor program, and so they had it suspended. So hopefully we are going to be resuming that shortly, because I know the recreation department is having their own basketball program on the weekends. So hopefully we're going to be resuming that Mondays and Thursdays, and that will be at the middle school. So if you know anyone, I think we said 12 and above, just have them sign up on our website under the CRB section, and or just, I guess, we'll go there and check for it when we say the date's going to resume. I'm hoping in the next like 2-3 weeks. And then also our Franklin Fit, which is the CrossFit program. This was going to be the last week because of the time change. It will be completely dark by 5:30 next week. So they are supposed to give it the green yellow light to move into the youth center, which I think is supposed to be done rather shortly. So I don't know when it's going to be totally open to the public, but I guess they're just going to hold a couple classes there until it gets the complete green light to open. We are going to be having a coat drive, or we're going to be giving away coats. I say we're not accepting anymore, but we're away on November 13th at our building with Community Baptist Church. We were supposed to have our 5K walk/runathon to raise money for the food bank, but that got postponed. So I don't think it's going to happen. I know it's not going to happen this year. So we'll look for it for next year. And speaking of the food bank, I guess we had a food distribution with them, and we're going to try to have another one. I'm thinking December 1st at this time. And we'll put out flyers and advertise that on the social media. Everything is, I guess, also going well. And government, I we still continue to have, a lot of the, everyone's heard of the catalytic converter thefts. But we're working on that, and believe it or not, the FBI is involved in that as well, because it's a national thing. It's going around everywhere. So
Rebecca,
catch
we're having
those.
some trouble hearing you. Could you repeat that?
A lot of static.
Okay, I was a lot of static. Oh, I'm just in one spot. So catalytic converters. I don't know if you guys have heard that on the news. There's been a big rise in the theft of those. So I know we had
what is
fair
it?
share.
Catalytic converters.
Out of the
Okay.
Priuses,
Oh boy.
catalytic converters.
Yeah.
Because they can scrap them. I guess, the junkyard, they're worth a lot of money. I'm not sure how that worked out, but Franklin did have a lot of those. But I said that they've been making, there's a task force looking into that. So, but again, I tell everybody, so don't leave anything in your cars. You still wouldn't believe the amount of, reports that we take for people, cars get, it's not even broken into. They're just, they leave them unlocked and they leave them in the front of their house, and then they come out and things are rifled through or missing. So please, please, please lock your cars in front of your house. And I guess that will be about it. I guess we're going to be doing a toy drive too. And I guess probably by the end of the month for November to those to the local kids. And I think that's about it. Does anyone have any questions?
Well,
Do
did
already
you?
have
Where will you
specific
drop them off?
problems? Yeah, thank you.
Oh, come to our building at 925 Hamilton Street. If someone is there, the lobby door is always open, and inside the lobby there will be a box in order to put any donations. And so we have an advertisement for Operation Christmas Child. We're doing that with one of the local Girl Scouts, where you shoeboxes and they're going to send them overseas. I'm assuming most likely Africa, but they can go anywhere. But stuff them little items, toilet items, smaller pieces of clothing, and little fun toys. So we're going to be doing that with girls. So anybody
Really bad
had
connection.
any? Okay, hear a thing.
Yeah, Rebecca, we're
I'm
really
so
having a
sorry.
lot of trouble hearing you. We're hearing maybe every third word that you say.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
oh,
We're trying to make our
okay.
best to make it out, but we really can't hear much.
I'm sorry, I could try to take a step outside. I don't know if that will do any.
That's better, much better already.
Much better?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm in Florida, so I
Oh,
would think that that the the distance would make it staticky, but this is better. You guys can hear me now?
So
Yeah.
much better.
yes.
Yeah, I think it was just your service. Well,
Okay. Yeah, sorry, this is the background noise of the water fountain, but uh I guess just so what I was saying, yeah, we're doing a stuffing with a Girl Scout troop, Operation Christmas Child. So if anybody had any small toiletries for kids, if they would like to donate, they can bring that by. And that's 935 Hamilton to the CRB building. And during the week, someone will be there 8 to 8.
are there flyers that could be distributed for that?
I can get one to you. I know that they posted it on the social media, on the Facebook page and Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you could just email one out, email the flyer out to, Vince, and I'm sure Vince can get it out to us. That way, we could all put it up in windows to know what programs are where and where to drop off at.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, and I can publicize it to the chamber members.
Okay, great. I will have that out to you guys this week.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Who has questions for public safety?
None this evening.
Oh,
All right, fantastic.
yeah,
So
all right.
Geneva
Well, thank you.
will.
Sorry about the noise.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you very much, Rebecca. We really appreciate all that you and the police department do for Hamilton Street.
Yes.
So Geneva, we'll pass it along to you for a marketing subcommittee report.
All right. So basically, we just had.
Geneva, it looks like you just went on
Sorry.
mute.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sure. I don't know if can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you
Okay.
fine now.
All right. So trunk or treat turned out pretty good. We had a nice group of people that showed up. We had ample amount of cars there that decorated themselves to participate. We even had some politicians participating, you know. So that was good. The kids enjoyed it. The only thing that concerns me is that I made an order we had $1,500 for some candy. Okay. I got 4 boxes of candy. That's not $1,500. So I've been trying to find out how much was charged to Hamilton Street for that little amount of candy that I received. I had was given a copy of what was in my order, but there was no bottom line, and I need to know what that was. So
Who was the vendor that made that charge, Geneva?
Well, Myra would know because the city changed it. We couldn't go out and purchase the candy like we used to. We had to put it online. I have no idea who these people are. But at any rate, she said a lot of the candy did not come in. I agree. Uh, but I don't want to see $1,500 charged to Hamilton Street.
Yeah, I'm sure. We can get that squared away because there should be absolutely no reason why we should be charged for something that we didn't receive, especially when it's candy for kids.
Exactly.
Can you just send me a text message or an email tomorrow? And I'll find out. I wasn't aware of that until you just made me aware of that right now. And I need to make sure that whatever they didn't get is not charged to us.
Right. Exactly. Okay. And now My other concern is why can't we uh, know how things are going to be done? You know, if the city changes their system of operating, uh, we need to know, because when we placed this order for this candy, it was like, 3 weeks before time, because they just found out that this is the way they had to do it, other than the way that we have been doing it in the past.
Vince, do you know why, why the process changed? And
I'm not aware of any process change. They have to, we go through the same process every year. The candy is ordered. If the recreation department had an issue and they didn't get the candy they were supposed to get, I need to speak to them. And I will speak to Safi tomorrow, because she's my contact with them, and I'll find out, what the issue was. We placed an order for the amount Geneva said, and I don't understand why candy, as far as I know, has not been a supply chain issue.
Oh, okay.
There's not been an issue with candy, so I don't
I didn't
understand
think so.
why we did not get the candy that we ordered. That makes no sense to me. But well, not tomorrow, because we're off tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll find out.
Yeah. Hamilton Street doesn't. There are a few events that I think are important that happen on the street, and one of them is trunk or treat. And not having candy for trunk or treat, I hope that we can resolve this so something like that never happens again.
Well, Geneva, I will copy you on every email I send,
Okay.
so that you will see everything from the first email to the last, to see what the issue was.
Mhm.
And then we could find out what that problem was and fix it.
Vince, thank
Yeah.
you very much for
Yeah.
making that a priority.
I think the
Yeah.
question, Geneva, is did we run out of candy for the kids?
Okay. So actually, it was very close. But the thing is, they changed the system. Like I said, now they're telling the people who set up their cars to bring candy. When the past 3 times that we did this, they couldn't bring their candy. We had to supply the candy. So fortunately, they
Who
had
is they,
something to
Geneva?
start
Who is
with.
they that said?
The Parks and Recs,
Okay.
the new guy there, Bob, and
Bo.
Wendy, and Myra. This is what they explained to me. And I says, this just, and even with the gift cards, I have specific things that I wanted that the people liked and the kids liked, and I had to settle for what they decided. They did not bring me in like last time. We worked together, not separate.
Maybe
This is my
moving
function.
forward.
This
Yeah.
is my function, the Hamilton Street's function, not the Parks and Recs by themselves.
Well, you know what, Geneva, I think the best thing to do is for me to set a meeting up next week, and as we do with any type of event, we can go over all the issues,
Mhm.
and then we can figure out, obviously there were issues this year, and we need to figure out how to fix those issues. So I think it's better if I just put everyone in a room
Okay.
and we work out. I mean, right? I mean, you have any issue with that?
I was
No,
thinking the
absolutely
exact same
not.
thing, Vince.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because things have to be done right, and Geneva is the person from this board that is responsible to make sure they're done. And if she's not happy, well, then we need to make sure things are done differently. So why don't I do that? I'll set something up. I'll check with you, Geneva, as far as your schedule next week.
Okay.
The rest of our schedules are pretty open, so I'll figure out when you're available, and then we'll set something up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe for next year, maybe we can invite whoever will be facilitating things from Parks and Recreation to our Hamilton meeting,
Right.
for them to update us on what they're going to do to make sure the event for our board is going to happen flawlessly. because I think accountability is important. And I think when, they have to make a public, representation of what they're going to deliver, then we can hold them accountable. Because if the community is turning to us, looking to us to improve the area, but then, on the other side, people are giving us direction that is somewhere along the way, there's a communications gap. If we can just bridge that gap, in everything that we do, I think we're going to be a lot more successful and productive and accomplish a lot more. So Geneva, thank you so much for bringing this to the board's attention. And Vince, thank you very much for, making it a priority to, prevent problems from happening again in the future.
I just sent an email to Bo, who's our recreation director, asking him to call me tomorrow, so I can discuss with him and we can set something up. So I'll send you an email on Wednesday. Bo will call me tomorrow, but we're not in tomorrow because of election day. But I'll set something up on Wednesday, Geneva, and see what your schedule's like.
Okay, that'll be fine. Now, moving on, the thing about the budget, that's good, because now, see, right now, I'm not sure what's in our budget, and we would like to try to have some kind of year-end event if possible. But, I have to see what we have left.
Yeah, I will, I will send out in the next 2 weeks budget information as to our budget this year. And because I think I said at the beginning of the meeting, anyone was here, we have to meet next month because we have to come up with a budget. So I will send that out within the next 2 weeks so you can start looking at that and be ready for the discussion at next month's meeting.
Okay. Now, I know that our DJ did not get paid because, again, things just rolled along kind of late. And so my thing is, when would that check be cut for him?
Geneva, I think all of those things that have to do with the trunk or treat, I think with Vince and Bo having conversation and us all getting together to have a meeting to make sure that all open items that are still unresolved become resolved, and also to do a correction of errors for next year. I think,
Okay. All right. No
I think that's
problem.
probably the best way to solve.
And let me tell you how the township, when we procure a service,
Right.
like a DJ, I get a invoice
Right.
beforehand, and I can do a purchase order.
Right.
Once that service is done, in other words, after they actually do the work,
Right.
then I'm told that they're done. Like you would tell me that they did it. Then
Right.
at the next council meeting, that can be approved. We
But
can't, we're not allowed to pay. We don't pay until either the equipment is received or the service is received. We just can't, by law, we can't do that. We are not
Okay,
allowed
you
to
know
pay
what?
beforehand.
Let me tell you, for the past 2-3 years now, that has not been done because the lady at the fun bus always got her check before she even got on the scene. That's why I was encouraging the people to put in their requests early so that they will be paid as soon as they're finished, because we would have the checks in hand. That's how we've been doing it.
We can get the council to put it on a bill list and approve beforehand, but we can't pay them until they have actually done the work. So in other words, if I have the invoice a month ago, I can get a purchase order approved. But finance cannot legally cut a check until they actually give us the service, do the work, or deliver the piece of pipe or whatever. And in this case, it's for them to do it. So I think you sent me the invoice for them, correct?
Well, I send it, well, usually I do, but I send it through Parks and Rec to send to you.
Yeah.
Here thing went that way. And so like Dean said, when we get in this meeting, we will nail this down.
Yeah,
So
because,
we can
yeah,
have it because
we can
I
talk
don't
about all
want,
those issues, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And Vince, the thing is, and the reason why I really appreciate you setting up a meeting is because this is not the first time Geneva has brought up
hello,
to the board that there was, vendor issues and this and that. I think the root cause of the problem is communication gaps on how this public-private process works. I think these vendors are accustomed to, doing business in the private sector, and government has a different way of doing things. And I think even if we had just a simple, like, one pager, like, okay, if you want to be a vendor for trunk or treat, you have to do ABC, you have to submit the RFP, you have to provide the service, expect to get paid 14 days afterwards, expect
exactly.
that your payment is going to be equivalent to the service that you provide regardless of what your proposal is, because if you say $15 for candy but you give us 4 boxes, you're going to get $20. you know I think we need a little cheat sheet, so that way if we can, make the whole process so clear for everybody, then they can choose whether they want to work with us, whether they don't, and they understand that, you know, if you don't provide what you say you're going to provide, don't expect to get paid what we said we would pay.
Perfect.
Simple as
Wonderful.
that.
Bo's
Jen-
I'm gonna talk to Bo right after this meeting. He just sent me a text to call him. So I'll talk to him right after this meeting, and then I'll send you an email, Geneva. You can tell me, or a text, and you can tell me when you're available next week. This week is crazy for me. I'm out at the end of the week, so, but sometime next week we can all meet and figure it out.
Well, it's just Tuesday or Wednesday will work for me next week. Just figure out between you guys what's going to be best.
Tuesday or Wednesday, between what time?
Between 11 and 2.
11 and 2, Tuesday or Wednesday. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Geneva,
So
thank you so much for the update. Did you have more? Go ahead.
Benjamin, are you there on the line? Oh, I guess he didn't join us. All right. I guess that's it. That's it for me. But
I'm
again,
here.
I'm not saying that it wasn't a success, because it was very successful. It was a great turnout. The kids loved it.
Geneva, I'm here. I just had
Oh,
I was
okay.
in the back. That's okay. Did you
Oh,
need
all right.
anything?
So I don't know if
You
you
need-
could share anything else, because I was saying that we
No.
wanted to do an event at the end of before the end of the year, and we just have to know what we have available. That's all. We'll see the budget for that.
Yeah, I'll wait until new business. I'll wait until new business because we'll move.
Okay.
Because just to keep the
Cool.
agenda going. The agenda going on. That's all.
All right.
Great.
That's
So
it.
then, moving on to new business, and in that case, Ben, please take it away.
Yeah.
Juanita, I'm not sure what you covered so far on your end, just to update anything from the county standpoint, but I just wanted to point out a couple things just for us to be aware of. I think the county's trying to be more involved with the community and knowing some of the regressions of their actions in the past. So they're looking for advisement on new projects, new events that they're trying to get solicitation for. Juanita was on one of the calls that was actually there for the board, for the Chamber of Commerce, where they had a idea session on different things that they're looking to do improvements on in the county and get more people involved. So one of the things that came
Why
up from
wasn't
an
the
initial-
board invited to participate?
I think I'm gonna say this from a general standpoint. I think they're gonna start doing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, just based on this. I think they're gonna, in each one of the specific areas, they're gonna be doing like different engagement portions of like town halls. Maybe hosting over the next probably couple months. I think after the election they'll probably be doing this a little bit more. I think it's a political thing right now where they didn't want to jump the gun until they knew the election was sealed so that they can deliver the options, because they're looking at how they place some of the COVID money that they actually have right now in specific pocket areas to help specific impact zones, and also how they can actually work together a little bit more as we proceed on. Juanita, you can correct me if I'm wrong, based on engagement conversations at all. If she's there.
Ben and Juanita, I would really appreciate if, from the Chamber of Commerce perspective or any brainstorming ideas for things that would involve the county and Hamilton Street, that we please ask the county to make that invitation available to all board members. And I also think that if the county has a new interest in being active and involved in uplifting Hamilton Street, that we should have somebody from the county join our board meetings.
I have put, so I was waiting for new business because I had hoped that, before we started, you'd ask if we had anything to add to the agenda. But on two things, I would like to have a meeting with Vince, which is the township, and someone from Hamilton Street Business District, so that we can have a collaborative effort going forward for the chamber. I don't want to use the meetings for that organization meeting, but if a representative could meet with me and we can discuss it with Vince, that's
I'd be
one.
glad to if you need me.
Yeah, no, I think anything that has to do with a directional, something that influences the direction of Hamilton Street. I think what's important to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that have occurred in the past, and that it's an open and transparent process, and that everybody knows exactly what's going on and nobody feels left out and in the dark, that the county, if they have an interest, brings it to our board.
Okay, so
Juanita, you're on this board. Juanita, please let me finish. If you're on this board as a representative of the Chamber of Commerce to report to the Hamilton Street Board. And so if what you're asking is to have one person from the Hamilton Street Board be in a closed door meeting with you and one person from the town, to me, that's not an open and transparent process. And I think that's something that we need to do our level best to absolutely not open the door on. I think
Okay,
if you
so
want to have
then-
a committee, if you want to have we can form a, you can be the chair of the, Chamber of Commerce relationship, HBD relationship committee or whatever, and you can provide an update. You can invite everybody to join a meeting that you're going to schedule, but we can't have these side conversations. I think that's absolutely unacceptable.
So I'm open to that. Listen, I'm not here to try and set up. I'm too busy to be setting up another meeting.
Very good, very good.
However,
yeah, I appreciate that.
I so we can set something up. My year is already done. I'm already scheduling into January, but we can set something up. Regarding the meeting that we had last Thursday, I think it is, with the freeholders who are now commissioners. So we had a meeting because there is funds that are available, and it's probably, I asked the question of when it would be available. I did send out the link. I don't know if everybody received the link.
No, we didn't get any link from you, Juanita.
Okay, so it comes from
this meeting, Juanita, this meeting that you had.
Can I just finish
last
saying?
Thursday. Go
Can
ahead.
I finish saying? So
Yes.
it was something that I was invited to as the president of the Chamber of Commerce and as a representative of businesses in Franklin Township. I took it on myself to say we have different areas, including Hamilton Street Business District, that should benefit from the funds. There's $64 million. Franklin Township Chamber of Commerce sent out a link. If everyone on this committee is not on the link, I will on the list.
Yeah.
I will make sure that you get
Juanita,
on the list.
I am not on the list, and I'm sure many others are not on the list. And I would appreciate if you replied to all to the email that Vince sent out with the agenda, to make sure every single Hamilton Street board member understands that the county has $64 million from COVID money. And if Hamilton Street businesses are interested in having an opportunity to take a share of that, that is absolutely public and
Okay,
transparent.
Dean, let me finish. Let me finish,
Mm-hmm.
please. So what I'm saying is that I requested that the commissioners have a meeting, and I was told that they'll call to schedule that meeting. My intent is that when they have that meeting, that the whoever is interested in being part of that meeting can come, but I have to wait until I get a response to my request.
So just to be absolutely clear, Juanita,
Yes.
when there's going to be a meeting, you're scheduling a meeting on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce with the county, and you would like the Hamilton Street Board to have a presence in that meeting. Is that what you're saying?
Any business in Franklin Township. So I'm
Okay, the
asking,
Hamilton Street Business District Advisory Board, what specific reference to this $64 million and the Chamber of Commerce and the county, draw the picture for me, because this is all very unclear. When there is notices that were supposed to be sent out but nobody got them, when we're scheduling meetings and you want a presence but we don't know who's going to be there or why, when so like, please make it extremely clear so there can be accountability.
Mr. Chairman? Dean?
Go ahead.
Yes, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt. It's just if I could interject, if it's okay with you?
Well, I'd like for Juanita first to answer my question.
I'm sorry,
and
sure,
then
no problem. I'm sorry, no problem. I'm not visually there, so I thought there was a pause. Go ahead.
yes. So what I was invited to the meeting. I attended the meeting. I shared information and decided that it's not only me, not only Franklin Township Chamber of Commerce members, of which Hamilton Street Business District is not a member of Franklin Township Chamber of Commerce, but I decided to extend because I wanted the benefit of all Franklin Township Chamber of Commerce businesses.
Follow-up question. Why if you're
I
a
cannot
member
finish.
of
You're not letting me finish.
Go ahead, Juanita, but I just hear a lot of contradictions, and I want you to understand how important it is.
Yeah, but Dean, isn't it better to let her finish first? Let her land first.
Yeah, I apologize.
Let me make it clear so everyone understands. Juanita was invited to a meeting as the chamber president. And I keep saying freeholders, the commissioners have been holding various meetings to determine, because they have $68 million. All Juanita is saying is that during that meeting that she was invited as a chamber person, that because she's also a member of Hamilton Street, indicated that Hamilton Street should be advised, should be involved and may be interested. So she's just bringing it to the attention. She attended a meeting at the freeholders' bequest,
Right.
and she made them aware that Hamilton would, and as Bob Vornlocker, and I'm sure what Jim was going to say, that Jim has also made them aware that there are various other agencies and entities such as Hamilton and other things in Franklin that want to be involved and that may be interested in being able to use that. That's all Juanita did. She was helping Hamilton Street by making them aware that Hamilton was involved. That's all she did. She didn't represent Hamilton.
Yeah.
She was trying to help us out. So there's
Fantastic.
let there not be any misunderstanding. She was just being helpful.
And that's exactly, Vince, I so appreciate
you, Vince,
for clearing that up, because I want, what's important to me as the chairman of this board is to make sure that there is absolute transparency and trust between everybody who interacts with us, because we have business owners that are part of this board. We have people that have been participating for years, and we need to make sure that, everything is always open door, right? And if we're going to represent Hamilton Street, or what this board is formed in order to be the representative of Hamilton Street. We would love, and I guess the reason this is important to me personally is because we would love to begin that dialogue with the county. We don't want to have a middle man or woman as our liaison. We want the county to be able to participate and share with us and allow us the opportunity to grow together, right? Because it is clearly,
Juanita,
Hamilton Street will absolutely become a big priority for the county. That's uncontroverted.
yeah, what Juanita did is put on her second hat and did Hamilton a favor by giving us a commercial. Right?
Juanita, thank you very much for
that's
doing that.
That's basically what you did. You put on a second hat when you were there in your first hat and gave us a commercial to help the Hamilton Street. I think that's
Additionally, I asked if the commissioners would have a separate meeting with the businesses of Franklin Township. And that's what I'm waiting on, that response. Thank you, Vin.
Thank you, Juanita. Does anybody else have any new business?
Yes,
I was just going to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. This is Jim, but I can wait. I was just going to ask a question.
No, please go ahead, Jim. You know, you
Oh, okay. And by the way, I mean, I'm listening here in Geneva. Thank you for doing that. I had Saturday all set aside to come to the trunk or treat. I had to do something with my son on Sunday part of the day, so thank you for doing that. I look forward to it next year, and I'm sure it'll get the glitches taken care of. And Juanita, thank you. I think. And Dean, I appreciate you being committed to the mission, because I know you're fighting for Hamilton Street. But just to make sure everybody's comfortable, I'm just going to throw this out there, because I think all of us run into situations where there's crossover, where the focus of the conversation or meeting didn't start out to be something about Hamilton, but because we're all there. We're all involved in the mission of promoting Hamilton, that, sometimes Hamilton becomes into the conversation. Do you think, and I'm fine either way, but do you think everybody would be comfortable with, if any of us are anywhere, that Hamilton becomes part of the conversation, part of a future meeting, dialogue, whatever, that maybe at that point, as soon as Hamilton may become part of it, that the information is relayed to Vince, and Vince as our executive director and economic development coordinator for the town overall.
Can
he could? I just said, do you think that Vince? Yeah,
I think all communication should be sent to Vince, the chairman, and Pat, and the vice chairman.
Yeah, Dean, I wasn't trying to cut you out. I was going to say that all communication, as soon as something looks like it might involve Hamilton, that the executive director and the chair is brought into the conversation and the email chain, and then it becomes. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, again, I'm
so
just
Jim,
it out
the
there
question
because...
is why is this important now? Why
what
now?
Do you mean?
So right now it's November 1st, 2021. Why now is there an unusually high interest amongst the county, the private sector, the Chamber of Commerce, everybody on Hamilton Street? Did anything exceptional occur recently?
Well, the reason is because they have $68 million to spend, and they're looking at how they're going to prioritize that, and they're asking people. And when they ask different people, as the councilman just pointed out, a lot of us wear quite a few different hats. Juanita is representing the Chamber of Commerce, but she also represents the Chamber of Commerce on Hamilton Street. So a lot of us have a different hats, and I think it's what Jim said is really important. That
I
if
agree
us are
with
at
Jim,
any meeting that we're talking about Hamilton Street, we just need to make the rest of us aware of it, so we know which is honestly what Juanita just did. She told us that she had a meeting. She told them that Hamilton is important, and they hoped that they would deal with us. And and that's really what she did tonight. And I think what the councilman is saying, let's do it in a more formal manner, where if I'm at a meeting at the state and the state says to me they're looking at giving downtown areas some money, I should contact everyone and make them aware. And I think any one of
Yes.
us that is at a meeting on, representing another hat, that we should make the others aware so that we're all on the same page. That's all.
Vince, thank you
No,
so much for
and if
clearing
you're
that up.
comfortable with that,
Mhm.
Dean and Vince, if you're comfortable with that, the chair and the executive director being informed right away and disseminating the information. Because Dean, I truly appreciate that you want to make sure that Hamilton is always front and center, everybody's communicated to, and it's transparent. Those are three goals that I'm 100% lockstep. I think all of us are. But so this doesn't happen again, the confusion, because I think we're all pushing for the same result. That process that Vince just mentioned, and this way, I'm assuming, Vince, you're on top of everything with Hamilton.
Yeah.
That you'll inform everyone, especially the chair and the members in quick format of whatever the situation or meeting or conversation is about, and give and disseminate the appropriate information, because it is important to have transparency. It is important to have everybody involved and made aware early on, and I think it was just a little confusion here. But anyway, actually the main question I wanted to ask, something totally related but separate. Do we have any idea of the percentage of businesses, registered commercial businesses on Hamilton that are part of the chamber? Because there's not a separate merchants association for Hamilton Street. So either they would be part of the chamber, or I'm going to say pretty much, on their own, not part of a formal group. Do we have any idea now of how many businesses on Hamilton?
We can talk about that offline. We can try to come up with data and
Yeah.
statistics and whatnot. But let's get to that. But Jim, please, one moment.
Sure.
So I just want to make clear my intentions. And so all of us here, Juanita, thank you for being an advocate for Hamilton Street. Jim, thank you for being an advocate for Hamilton Street. And of course, Vince, you're always taking front and center as our executive director to make sure that we get what we need. And so because we need to now, since we are all advocates, everybody on this board is an advocate for Hamilton Street. We need to be able to have a meeting together to decide, okay, well, this meeting is coming up. At this meeting, what is important to Hamilton Street that we ask for? What is our message? What is our mission statement, right? Because naturally, when you have the Chamber of Commerce, like for example, the Chamber of Commerce, and Jim, as you just made extremely clear, the Chamber of Commerce has a specific motivation to, benefit as a result of being part of the Hamilton Street Board, to grow their number of businesses part of the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, that benefits the Chamber of Commerce. And if you're able to have influence amongst a lot of the businesses on Hamilton Street, now what does that, what benefit is that? Well, there's a huge benefit when the governor and the CEOs of the two largest hospital systems in New Jersey and probably the country get on stage with all of the provosts of the largest, the most renowned universities in the country and the world, like Princeton and Rutgers, to announce how they're going to start development of the largest, the most impactful development in the history of New Jersey at the hub. So let's be I want to be very transparent. What I'm saying is right now, what's happening now is what Hamilton Street has been waiting for all these years. Just a chance, an opportunity to be recognized, and for the citizens and the residents and the business owners to all be beneficiaries of this incredible redevelopment where over $1.6 billion is being invested less than 1 mile away. And once that $1.6 billion of construction is completed at the new cancer center and the hub, naturally you're going to have a tremendous amount of highly paid professionals that are going to want to live and move into the area. And this is going to, set off a huge opportunity for everybody. And so we need to make sure that the first people that are the beneficiaries of any success that comes to Hamilton Street are not the Chamber of Commerce or any other organization or any politician that wants re-election. It's going to be the Hamilton Street residents that have been on the street, fighting for the street day in and day out for the last, year over year. And that's the only thing that I care about, is the people and how these opportunities are going to benefit the people, regardless of how it affects anybody else's reelection.
Okay, so Dean, real quick, just while we're going into that, and I don't want to dwell on the topic too much. Can we focus maybe next meeting, because we have to meet next in December. Can we say that we're gonna have a list of what we want to ask from the county?
Yes, great idea.
In the next meeting, so that we can actually say this is a list of requirements that we want to do with the Hamilton Street Board as a whole, and actually work on an events. Can you, if possible, can you also bring up like any zoning or anything else that we might be able to review that we can actually educate people on, so that they're aware of anything that's going on business wise, so that when we're having a conversation with the county, we can actually help out and subsidize maybe some of the people that might be struggling right now, and start that as a.
Yeah, Ben, I think that's a great idea, to get together to prepare what our talking points are for every Hamilton Street advocate. And again, keeping the process transparent and open for everybody that cares to be involved.
Okay, duly noted. I got one other thing that I wanted to ask, if we're finished with the topic at all.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so so there was another thing that I just wanted to bring up from the county perspective. The county is also doing it. We're gonna work in collaboration with them. With when I say we, is a Somerset Community Action Program and a couple other organizations that are local here. They're gonna be doing a food drive for November 20th, where they're gonna be donating, gonna be recognizing families to try to donate directly for, because right for Thanksgiving that's coming up. So on November 20th, me and Geneva talked about it, because we seen a need for an actual trunk or treat, where we have a lot of families that are struggling during this period of time frame for, for food, because of the impact both from Ida and also from COVID still lingering, that we wanted to actually do sort of a food mission. I know the food bank is doing their partially, but we're gonna actually do something directly on Hamilton Street at 873 Street, where we're gonna be giving out probably turkeys again. We gave out 100 turkeys last year in reference to that, and we want to try to do that again. So Geneva and myself had a conversation about whether or not Hamilton Street was involved with something like that to give out food. So that was another thing.
Fantastic. Thank you for the update, Ben. Does anybody have any questions, for Ben, or anything about that was discussed under new business, or additional comments?
Well, the fact that he brought up what we were just talking about, which I think is a good idea. Um, I would like the board to vote on whether or not we will take part in participating in the Thanksgiving giveaway for those needy families. And I think that we need to bring that up and vote on that now, because Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
Geneva, I absolutely agree with you. If there is a way for us to help the needy on Thanksgiving by giving away some, turkey on Hamilton Street,
Yeah.
by all means, please make a motion for whatever it is that, you would like the board to vote on.
Okay.
Vince, we can look at the budget, but we wanted to allocate, if we didn't spend all our money for the candy budget. That was one of the reasons why Geneva asked that question in the beginning. She wanted to specify, if we only spent $1,000, if we can reallocate the money, even though it's not a line item that we budget for every year. But if we can reallocate the money that we're supposed to spend on the candy, to reallocate that money to spend money on turkeys or other food items, so that we can give that away. Mr.
Canned goods.
Yeah,
we-
Mr. Collier and myself already are working out of his in unit 873 because he has a open storage space to actually do things that we've been working out of to actually coordinate it so we can accept all the donations at the actual facility there to actually coordinate that and do it there. So it's just a matter of the allocation. We didn't want to speak specifically until we know what the budget was, but if that money can be reallocated so we can purchase that, that would be something that we
Well,
want to work.
we can surely reallocate money, and I think the board has indicated their ability, then they want to do that. The only issue is that who are we paying for what?
You would pay
Because
Scott.
I need to do a purchase order for something, and it has to be, so.
It would be Scott.
we
It would be Scott. It would be Scott. It would be Scott. I will work
No,
out.
no, then we can give SCAP money. If the board, I can work with Geneva and Ben, and we can reallocate some money, whatever we didn't spend, as long as the board's okay with that, we can easily give SCAP the money. That's
Vince,
a
would it
no-brainer.
be simple to like if I were to propose a motion for the Hamilton Street Board to allocate $1,000 for turkeys for the needy in the Hamilton Street community? Is that something that we can do now?
I would say that we want to allocate $1,000 for SCAP to purchase, whether it's turkeys or whatever they're going to purchase.
Exactly.
Because SCAP's going to decide, whether they're turkey or mash or whatever they need to give people so that they can have food for Thanksgiving. So
This
I
will
would
be a
say
full
let's
deal.
give SCAP $1,000.
Geneva or Ben, do either of you want to make that motion so we can vote
Yeah.
on it?
Yeah, I make a motion to give $1,000 for Thanksgiving event for SCAP.
All in favor? Say aye.
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 All right,
Geneva,
motion
can
passes.
you get SCAP to send me an invoice?
I certainly can, not a
They can
problem.
email me the invoice and then I can get it on the council agenda then.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Geneva and Ben, thank you both for caring to do that.
You're welcome.
All right. Last point, last portion, and then I think we're done. Just because I was going to bring it up next meeting. There's one other program that's going to be done that we're going to bring up. The officers will probably bring this up for December next month. Also, SCAP is going to be doing this potentially annually with the New Jersey State Community Action Program also to do a Shop with a Cop initiative, taking local families that are actually here that are deprived or might have been impacted or low income people to actually do shopping. We're waiting on the budget and waiting on the official information to actually be released, but that is something else that I know the officers at 935 Hamilton Street are going to be involved with. We're just waiting on a formal word from the New Jersey State to actually do that directly. I think I get word from DCA later on this week for the budget approval for what is going to be allocated for that. So that is something else that we'll be doing local signups for needy families that might be impacted during the Christmas season to actually go shopping for also. So we're going to be coordinating that also during the holiday season.
That's great.
Ben, thank you very much for that update. Does anybody else have any new business? All right. So we'll close new business and public comment. Do we have anybody from the public on? So I guess
Before you
next
do
thing would be
that,
adjournment. So please, Pat, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So over the past couple of months, I've just kind of been rolling things around in my head. So for next meeting, and I kind of talked with Dean about this a little bit in advance. I'm going to come up with just a list of things that I'm going to email out to everybody for us to think about. What our mission is, what we're here to do, how we can do that, ways that we can improve, the tools that we have at our disposal or the tools we'd like to have at our disposal. A bunch of different points that I kind of just want to help, keep us going on the right path. It's a passionate thing for me to be part of this, and I want to make sure that that our community is successful with our support. So I'm going to kind of try and throw some things together. But everyone is, I want everyone's input in as much as they can give it to me, to come up with the best plan to get to where we want to get to and keep getting there.
Pat, I think that's such a wonderful idea
Sounds
and
good.
long overdue for us to have a clear mission, explanation of who we are, what we represent, what tools we need, and what we can do to help you, right? And so I look forward to continuing that conversation with you. Does anybody else have any comments or, final thoughts?